Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Welcome to my video on creating pie charts using SPSS. So I have fictitious data loaded in the data view. I'm going to use these data to show you how to create pie charts. So pie charts are created under the Graphs menu item. So it's Graphs, Legacy Dialogs, then Pie. And you can see under pie charts you have three different choices here. You have data in chart R summaries for groups of cases, summaries of separate variables, and values of individual cases. So I will go through all three of these, but I'm going to start with summaries for groups of cases. So we'll click Define here. And you can see this is what the Define Pie Summaries for Groups of Cases dialog looks like by default. So it's not unusual that we're interested in the percent of cases. So slices represent here n of cases by default. I'm going to change this to percent of cases. And let's say we want to define the slices by gender. So I'll just move gender over to define slices by. And you can add titles. I'm going to leave this blank, but you can add titles. And there is an options button as well, but I'm not going to make any changes here. So we'll click OK. And you can see fairly basic pie chart. There are ways to add some features to it. You double click and it brings up the chart editor. A common addition we want to make, especially to a pie chart like this, that only has two categories, would be to show data labels. And usually what we want to see here is percent. And by default, the percent displays as it does here in the editor. So you can see 53% of the participants, a little over 53% of participants are male, and above 46% are female. We can also change the chart size, the text layout, the text style, the fill and border. Up the top right here, variables, and I see it moves down when I click on it. And of course the data value labels, which I already changed, and the number format. So there's a lot of different options to change the properties here. I'm going to leave them as I have them here with just the percents displayed. So a fairly straightforward pie chart there. So I've moved back to Graphs, Legacy Dialogs, and Pie. That was summaries for groups of cases, but let's take a look at summaries of separate variables. Click Define, and you can see the dialog looks different than the summaries of groups of cases. So the summaries of separate variables here will load multiple variables in the slices represent list box. So let's say functioning. Notice it changes it to sum functioning, and then quantity. And let's run this first with just these two variables in there. And you can see it compares functioning and quantity. But what if we were to go in and make this a little more complex, and under Graphs, Legacy Dialogs, Pie, go to the same area, summary of separate variables, and here we'll add into rows gender. We'll put the gender variable in rows and click OK and see how this changes it. And now we can see that functioning and quantity are broken down by gender. And then to take this even one step further, we could go to, again, the Graphs, and then Legacy Dialogs and Pie charts. And now for columns, we'll add program. So rows, gender, columns, program. Slices represent the sum of functioning and the sum of quantity. Click OK. And now you can see we have 6 pie charts. So we have individual, group, and treatment as usual, 3 levels of the program independent variable, and male and female, 2 levels of the gender independent variable, and the corresponding pie chart based on function and quantity for each of those combinations. So then to show you the last type of pie chart, we'll go to values of individual cases. Click Define, and I'll reset this. So you can see it has slices represent, and then rows and columns. So say I move functioning back there. So slices represent functioning, and just left it as it is here, and click OK. And you can see it's a fairly busy pie chart, but these slices are different. They represent different values. It's not easy to see that, but if we double click and we show the values, and let's move them to the outside here, click Apply, you can see the percents are different. And in a similar fashion, we can add rows and columns to the value of individual cases type. And I'll just go ahead and add gender as rows and program as columns, and click OK. And you can see we have 6 different pie charts broken down by the 2 independent variables and using the dependent variable functioning. I hope you found this video on creating pie charts in SPSS to be helpful. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to assist you.